Here are the exact software successful restaurants are using right now to market themselves and to save time. Are you using 10 different tools right now that really don't talk to each other? Or even worse, you're paying for multiple tools or softwares that you don't really need when you already have one that works. Today I'm breaking down the exact restaurant tech stack I'm using right now without overcomplicating things. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about scheduling and social media management. The Meta Business Suite is probably your best friend when it comes to scheduling for social media right now. You're able to add admins, you're able to check analytics, you're able to actually run ads from the ads manager and schedule all your posts ahead of time. Ideally, many brands want to do this because they want to stay on the platform, they don't want to use another platform, spend money on another platform, and it easily lets you add admins or users in order for you to be able to give them access without them having the password. This is also another great tool because you're actually able to pull all the data directly from Meta on everything you're doing on Facebook, on Instagram, and any of their other platforms that you're actually marketing or advertising on. If you're not used to using the Meta Business Suite and maybe you're using tools like Later, I'd suggest going down that route as well. That's something that we use for some of our accounts, later.com. With Later, you have a visual content calendar, drag and drop scheduler, and many brands use it best for Instagram scheduling. You also have link in bio functionality and hashtag and posting optimization available to you. It's important to understand that these tools help you handle distribution, scheduling your content ahead of time, seeing how it's going to look on the feed, seeing how it's going to look on the grid. This is not CRM, this is not email marketing, this is not text marketing, it's specifically scheduling out your social posts. Now let's talk about our reservation systems like Resy, OpenTable, or even SevenRooms. OpenTable is the most widely recognized guest booking platform. Here, you'll be able to see guest history and visit frequency. You're also able to take a look at covers and revenue tracking. The platform also allows you to look into guest profiles, what kind of feedback they're giving, and what kind of notes they have on their actual guest profile. One really cool thing I like to use OpenTable for is to actually see who the VIPs are, what they came in for, how many people were in their party, helps me understand what kind of people are coming to my establishment and how I could better serve them in other occasions. The platform also allows you to see who your VIPs are, who's not showing up, and who's canceling your reservations. So to be clear, OpenTable is a guest database. Many restaurants that have OpenTable try to replicate it or duplicate it somewhere else and end up working double. And this is what I'm trying to help you avoid. Now let's talk about SevenRooms. SevenRooms is more enterprise focused from my opinion. SevenRooms has built-in CRM style features, loyalty and guest profiles, private events and ticketing, and it's great for high volume or hospitality groups. Let me give you a perfect example of SevenRooms versus OpenTable. I have several clients that are on OpenTable, and I have a handful that are on SevenRooms. Each time, more and more people are switching over to SevenRooms, to be clear. However, SevenRooms and OpenTable don't work just for anything, and let me tell you exactly what I mean by that. I have a client that opened in Miami Beach, and they're an upscale cocktail lounge. They sell tables and have big DJs come out to the venue. Now, you may think OpenTable may be a great way to book these tables. However, it's not dining, it's actually nightlife. And in this specific case, SevenRooms seems to work really well for them in order for them to be able to showcase their location, their layout, and actually sell the tables. So you have to know what kind of location you have, what kind of software you're using, and if you're using the right software for that specific location. If you're a regular restaurant, SevenRoom works. If you're a regular restaurant, OpenTable works. But if you're a club, you're likely not going to want to use OpenTable. You're going to want to use something like OpenRooms, Posh, or any of the other platforms these types of groups are using to be able to push their nightlife. Now let's talk about Resy, which has a strong presence in major markets. Resy has a Google integration, POS options, and simple guest communication. Remember that your reservation system owns what happens in the dining room. Every other software should be there to support it. Now, let's talk about CRM. Here's what most restaurants get wrong. Most restaurants think they need a CRM to, for example, replace a platform like OpenTable. And most of the time, they end up with 2 to 5 softwares that nobody really logs into. And one of the most annoying parts, staff gets forced to double enter data, things don't get done right, and people drop the ball. And the truth is, you don't need multiple CRMs, you need one true source of truth. So let's break down the structure. A platform like OpenTable is your operational guest intelligence. OpenTable handles reservations, guest history, visit frequency, guest notes and preferences, VIP behavior, and covers and spend, to name a few. This is something that you don't need to recreate elsewhere. It's something for you to be able to draw upon when you need this data. It's important to understand that OpenTable allows you to set up email automations, different types of communications, and makes it easy for you to be able to have multiple touch points with guests. but it does have its limitations. And many restaurants look to other CRMs to be able to supplement the things that OpenTable doesn't help them with. For example, HubSpot. It's important to understand that the CRM is not for tables and it's not for seating, it's for communication. The CRM will track emails and phone numbers, tags such as VIPs, regular visitors, first-time guests, event leads. You'll also be able to look at campaign activity, private event inquiries, and much more. I briefly mentioned HubSpot, but you could also look at platforms like Soho CRM or other similar ones to help you keep track of the contacts in your database. And one really big thing to understand, if your host or your marketing team aren't able to get around in the CRM and aren't actually going to use it, you should really consider it. The last thing you want to do is set up this whole CRM, whether it's free or paid, and people aren't using it. The systems that I'm going to teach you in this channel are meant to be upkept. This is where you'll be able to yield true results from everything we're going to put into place. If you want to check out HubSpot, you could click the link below, follow my affiliate link, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Do keep in mind that in this video, we're quickly going to break down the tech stack or a tech stack that you currently could use for your restaurant. Now, keep in mind that each tech stack requires a specific setup. In later videos, I could perhaps go into each specific software, show you exactly what I'm doing or what you could be doing, and get more granular into each specific subject. Now let's talk about email and text marketing for your restaurant. There are many hospitality-focused softwares. There's also traditional softwares that digital marketers like myself will use to market a business. Softwares like Klaviyo, softwares like MailChimp. There's no right or wrong answer here as long as one of these softwares properly works for you and gets the job done. These softwares will allow you to have lists built from reservations, automated campaigns, birthday and anniversary messages, and segmentations based on guest behavior. One of the big things I see restaurants miss a lot of the time is actually engaging in text message marketing. Text message marketing has higher open rates than emails and helps you fill last-minute tables. It also allows you to send text blasts to specific segments of customers, VIPs, and keeping them informed and making them feel special. One big thing that text marketing is used for as well is for event reminders. But one big thing I like to talk about when it comes to text marketing is to make sure that you're compliant. You don't want any FCC, any FTC issues when it comes to advertising because it could cause huge problems for your business when you think you're doing something right and you're actually not. You don't know what you don't know. So if you're going to engage in email marketing, text marketing, any of these things that I'm mentioning here, make sure that you're compliant. Do your research, Google it, ChatGPT it. Before you send out a text, run it by an LLM, a ChatGPT, and actually ask, is this compliant? Try to go really far with it. And if you want to take it a step further, talk to an attorney. Have them pre-approve a set of templates of messages that you could send for reminders and see if they're actually compliant, and then actually be compliant when you send the messages out. One big thing that's important for you to understand is that MailChimp, Klaviyo, or any of these softwares that I'm mentioning, they allow you to email market and to text market, but they're not your CRM. Your CRM is what I mentioned, potentially a HubSpot. Your OpenTable is where your guest data and reservation behavior live. So you'll be able to jump from platform to platform, understanding exactly what you need to do without having to have a bunch of platforms. The idea is for you not to have to work with 15, 20 softwares, but if you're running a full-scale operation, please understand you will be working with a few softwares and you're gonna need to know the difference between each one. So if you're not following and you have additional questions, drop them in the comments or follow me at Alex Quin, AlexQuin on Instagram, or our Instagram for the agency, UADV. Drop a question in the comments, send us a DM, and we'll be happy to chat. Now, let's talk about phone systems. Many restaurants think it's as easy as having a cell phone. People call the cell phone, the hostess or the manager, somebody on the team picks up the phone and makes a reservation. And to an extent, that's true. But many restaurants get high call volume, and they really don't know where calls are coming from. How many calls are being missed? What's taking place during those calls? Are we having good customer service during the calls? A lot of these things get missed. One software I could tell you works really well for this is CallRail. CallRail allows you to track phone calls, track where they're coming from, it lets you make custom phone numbers for different platforms so you see what's bringing in calls, what's not. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have Instagram. You have a phone number on Instagram. You have a phone number on Google Business, a phone number on your website, a phone number on Facebook. All those phone numbers are different, but they forward to the same main line. When you log into the CallRail dashboard, you're able to hear the calls, and you're also able to see in charts which platform, which medium is bringing you the most calls. That way you're actually able to see what's working for your restaurant and what's not. If you didn't have a software like this, you would have a regular cell phone, the calls would come in, it would be the same volume of phone calls likely, but you wouldn't know the data that I'm telling you right now, which is very important for you to understand. You could also look at VoIP systems like Nextiva, which allow you to do things like professional call handling, call routing and forwarding, voicemail to email, and one number for multiple locations if that's what you want to do. So why does this matter? Because the truth is that missed calls equals missed reservations. And a lot of the times these phone calls tend to be for bigger parties, 10, 20, 30 people that are looking to do a birthday or a special event, and you definitely don't want to drop the ball here. Now, let's talk about automation. We talked about several softwares here, and it's a little bit difficult sometimes to keep track of everything, especially when these softwares don't speak to each other. The good thing is that there's softwares out there specifically for that issue. One of those softwares is called Zapier. Let's break it down. By the way, Zapier, different people say it different ways. I don't know. How do you pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. So what does Zapier actually do? It connects tools that don't natively talk to each other. It prevents double data entry, and it runs silently in the background so you don't have to be monitoring it all the time. Let me give you a simple example of Zapier working for your restaurant, automatically transferring contacts from your OpenTable to your email list. Now picture somebody visiting your website, filling out a form on the website for, let's say, a private event. Form goes through, Zapier sends the form through all the way to your CRM, saves the CRM as a contact, then goes ahead and emails your entire management staff, letting them know that a form submission just came in. All of those 3 steps in a regular world, you would have to get it from the website, send to your CRM, from your CRM, let somebody on your team know to take care of it, and probably things would have gotten lost in the mix. Including Zapier, you would be able to glue all of these things together, make them happen in sequence without you having to actually manually do it. Here's another example. Maybe you have a missed call at the restaurant. That missed call could be sent over to the CRM with a note to say, hey, this person called, please reach out to them. If somebody's keeping track of the CRM or the task in the CRM, they'll be able to call back. Otherwise, they'll just be able to see the missed call on the phone. Either way, these are little things that you'll be able to adapt to automate if you feel like you need them. Keep in mind that automation is how you keep things simple and not overly complicated. It may be a little tedious at first to set up. Maybe you're not able to do it yourself. Maybe you have to go to a freelancer.com or a fiverr.com or talk to that marketing person you haven't gotten back to. But once the system is in place, it'll work fine. You'll be able to monitor it maybe, once a month, make sure that it's working, and things will run a lot smoother. If you need extra help, don't hesitate to reach out. Hit the link in bio. Know that we work as consultants, as marketers for restaurants, for the hospitality industry, and we're happy to help you or answer any questions throughout your process. Lastly, let's talk about hosting and website management. You probably bought your domain on GoDaddy or a similar platform. You likely had to connect it to a Squarespace, a Wix, a WordPress, a Webflow in order to be able to launch your website. You probably also connected it to Gmail to be able to run your Google Business Suite or any other email marketing platform. So what matters when it comes to hosting and management? Page speed for SEO, mobile optimization for mobile visitors, easy menu hours and updates, and reservation and event integration. If you're managing the website yourself, ideally you want to pick a platform that's drag and drop and you'll be able to easily fix things. If you have a marketing team or a marketing agency and are a little bit more advanced, then it doesn't really matter where you're at as long as everything is done properly. And it's important for you to understand that your website is not just a brochure, it's part of your sales system. You need it to work well. You need it to be integrated with your CRM, with your marketing systems, with all the softwares that I just mentioned to you. If you don't know how to do it, get it set up and then learn how to do it. Teach somebody on your team how to do it, or bring somebody in-house or a marketing agency to be able to manage it for you. Here's one big thing I want you to take away from this. I've mentioned 7 categories of softwares in this video, but it doesn't mean that it's everything. It's where I think you should get started and the bare minimum that you should be doing in order to be able to see results. Is there other softwares? Is there other tools? Of course, but we could get there later on. Right now, let's work on the basics, let's get them done, and if you need additional help, drop a line in the comments. I would like to point out that I'm holding back about 85 to 90% of the information I know when it comes to restaurant and hospitality marketing. Yes, I'm giving you a lot of sauce here on YouTube, but I'm holding back most of the information for my paid programs, whether it's my students, my actual clients, or my consulting accounts. If you want to learn from all the free game I'm throwing out here on YouTube, go for it. If you want to ask questions in the comments, go for it. We'll likely answer them. And if you want to learn a little bit more without having to spend a lot, I have a book coming out called How to Market Your Restaurant Online. Be on the lookout, as it's going to be on shelves on Amazon specifically within the next 4 to 8 weeks, depending on when you're watching this video. So the truth is, you don't need every tool at once. You just need clarity on what system owns what. Good restaurant marketing isn't about more softwares. It's actually about fewer tools that work really well together. That's it, y'all. If you found value in this video, share with a friend or colleague, drop a comment below, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and help us continue to grow the channel, where we're going to continue to throw free game when it comes to restaurant marketing. See you on the next episode.